Today we want to look at pointers to pointers. What is a pointer? A pointer is a variable that stores the address of another variable. So we are going to have multiple pointers. So I'm going to write a program today to illustrate the event in the Garden of Eden. Right? That is what I want to show you here. So let's say we have a variable. Let's call this variable spirit, right? And then inside it we have 7, 7 inside this variable. And the address of this variable is what? 100. Then we have another variable here pointing to this. Now, the content of this one is what? 100. So this one becomes a pointer, right? So I'm just going to put this there for you to see. So this becomes a pointer. This is just a normal variable, right? Spirit is just a normal variable that is housing this 777, and the address in the memory is what? 100. Then you have another variable that is housing this 100, so that makes it a pointer. Now this pointer also has an address, so let's call this address 200. Now I'm going to have pointer to pointer. Now we have another one here. So this one is housing this 200, and the address is what? 300. So this one, we'll call it man. Man. So if this is a pointer with just one asterisk, this one will be a double pointer with two asterisk pointing to this pointer. So this one will now point to this. Why this one will point to this? Now, how do you write a program to illustrate this concept? Pointers to what? Pointers. That is what I want to show you in today's class. So that at the end of the day, when I want to print out this using this double asterisk to access the value of this man, it will print out 7, 7 on the screen for me to see. And then I can use this one to alter this value. So this place, I can call it soul. Soul. And then I can make this soul point to something else, which man will now be pointing to a corrupted soul and give us a different value. So this divine value is what? 777. I will make this soul point to what? 999. And then man will also print out 9 on the screen. So this is pointer to pointer. So using double asterisk, I can access the value of what? T-spirit. So let's write a C program to illustrate that. Yeah, I will say include stdio.h for my print function. Then I will also include stlibrary.h for my malloc function because I'm going to do dynamic memory allocation. So I'll say int main. Then the first thing I will do is I will declare a variable int spirit. This is the variable name. And I will assign 7, 7 to it. So this is allocated at compile time. And where this is going to be stored will be what? In the stack. I told you about stack and heap. So this will be in the stack. Now I'm going to declare a pointer int. This is my pointer, and I will name it soul. Now, what is it going to point to? It's going to point to address of spirit. So it will be address of what? Spirit. Right? Now I'm going to declare another pointer, which is what? Int double asterisk man. And this will point to what? To the address of soul. Right? So I've done that. Now I want to print out the content of this man. So I'll say print f. Man point to soul. Right? This will give me percentage D slash N. So double asterisk man. So what would this give me on the screen? Man point to soul. Then I'm using this double asterisk to access the value of man. So this one will give me 777 on the screen. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to point this soul to something else. Initially, I'm pointing this soul to this. So I'm having spirit, right? And then I'm having soul, right? And then I'm having man. So this point to this point to this. So this one is housing 7, 7. So this guy can access this through the soul. But I want this soul now, instead of pointing to the spirit, to point to something else. Let's say 9, 9, 9. That is when man fell. So instead of pointing to the spirit where it was housing this, I'm going to point it to something else, which is the flesh. And then man is going to display what is in that flesh. So how do I write that in a C program? So I will come here and I will say soul, right? And I will call my malloc function. So I'll say malloc, and I'll say int size of integer. So I have created a dynamic memory, and this will be created in the word heap. I have created a dynamic memory, and I've pointed soul, which is a pointer to it. But I did not typecast it explicitly. This is an implicit typecasting because of what? This library. So this allows me to implicitly typecast malloc from a void pointer to what? To an integer what? Pointer. So I have used this now to allocate a memory size for this soul. Then I will say asterisk soul assign 999. So I am now assigning this value, which is 999, to the memory address that this malloc function has created. That is what I am doing here. So after this now, I can say print f man point to corrupted soul percentage D slash N asterisk man. So what would this one give me? Don't forget, at this point, man is pointing to soul. Now we come here, we say man point to soul. It's going to print out 77. Then I created a memory location, and I'm now pointing soul to that memory location. Then I use this one to assign a value into that memory location. So soul is now pointing to this instead of pointing to what? To spirit. Now I am trying to access this again by saying man point to corrected soul. So in accessing this, this will print out 999. So the next thing I will do is I will free this soul. I will free this soul from this location, which is what? This memory. So I will call my free function free soul. So this is what? Restoration. So I'm trying to restore man back to the original creation. So I'm going to free this soul. Then I will now say soul point to what? Address of spirit. Address of spirit. So this is actually the restoration. So I'm pointing soul back again to what? To the address of spirit. Then here I'll say print F. I'll say man restored. percentage D slash N, comma, asterisk man. Then I will say return 0. So my curly bracket, I will close it. So this is my script. So at this point, I have declared a variable, spirit, and I assigned 777 to it. Then I declared a pointer, which is what? Soul, pointing to the address of spirit. Then I declare another pointer, which is what? Pointers to pointers, pointing to the address of soul. Now, at this point, I'm trying to access the value of man. The value of man, what? Is going to access what is in this spirit. That's what it's going to print out on the screen. Then I created a memory at runtime and point soul to it. God breathed into man and man became a living soul. So at that point, man can expand. So that is your choice. So Malloc is like you choosing, right? So the Logos is eternal, but the manifestation of that Logos will now depend on what? The choice that you make. So soul now is pointing to the memory location that was created at runtime, not at compile time, and is assigning a value of 999 to that memory location. So we are now trying to access the value of man, because man is still pointing to soul, to the address of soul. Now man is going to access a corrupted soul, and to print out 999 on the screen. Now I free that memory and then point the soul back to the spirit, and then we access man again, and man is now going to print out here again 777, which is what? Man restored. So this is a concept to demonstrate pointers to pointers. That is what I want to show you in this class. So let's go to code blocks. Let me demonstrate this script for you to see. So this is our code blocks, and this is a pointer to pointer, which is exactly what I showed you on the screen. So this is stdio.h, standardlib.h. So these are like toolboxes that I told you. Now we assign 777 to our spirit. This is in stack. Then we have a pointer pointing to the address of spirit. Then we have a double pointer pointing to the address of soul. And then we try to access the first man. And then we created a memory location. And then we point soul to that new value. And then we try to access man again. Then we free that memory and we realign soul back to spirit, and then print out man again. So let's run this for you to see. So you see, the first one printed out man accessing the divine, 777. Man accessing corrupted soul, 999. And then man restored back to 777. So that is what I want to show you in this class. So this program is just to demonstrate this for you to see, in order for you to appreciate the beauty of what? Pointers. So till we see in the next class. Bye-bye.